has to happen.
Hello, Boomi community, and welcome back to Boomi World 2026. We are here in Chicago, and we have had a morning where we've been talking about all things under the hood of the next wave of innovation at Boomi. Joining me now are some partners from the field, along with Dan McAllister, SVP of Global Alliances and Channels at Boomi. Welcome back, Dan.
That's right, thank you. Love to be here.
And Terese Pate, CTO of Enterprise Transformation Platforms at DXC Technology. Welcome, folks.
Thank you.
So maybe set out the stall here for us. Tell me a little bit about this partnership, how you guys work together, and I guess really too, what's changing, right?
Yeah, sure. You want to jump in?
Sure, I'll show. So we've used Boomi for years, right? And I think about, what is it, 9 months now?
Yes.
We created a more intense partnership, I guess I'll call it, intense.
Yeah.
And we now built a practice around Boomi. So we've used it before, but now we have a dedicated practice, right? Because we really saw, as we worked with, because I'm enterprise platforms, all these different platforms, there was a need to be able to connect and go between, right? So, and that's really my goal as CTO is, don't look at your space in a silo, you need to understand how it fits in the landscape. So I'm always telling people, look left and look right and understand what's upstream and downstream. And
That's
so
right.
Boomi is really that connective tissue, whether it's for the data or integrations or AI.
Yeah, I think one other aspect of that was so interesting, and again, what Terese had shared is that DXC manages some of the most complicated landscapes around the world, right, in IT set. And we had worked with them organically throughout the last several years, at least since I've been here at Boomi, and even other companies I've been at. And what was really interesting that really prompted a more strategic partnership was that some of the other vendors that they were working with in those complicated landscapes were also partners of Boomi. And so we kind of found ourselves in this foregone conclusion of like, well, of course we should be working more strategically together because customers are asking to, our other common partners are asking us to. So it's just a great opportunity to do something a bit more together.
I love that. I love the flywheel of tech right now, right? Because I think it's a big opportunity, and it's great to see the collegiality too in the industry.
Yeah.
So Terese, to go to you for a second, we heard on stage this morning from Manny and his team that, it surprised me to hear that only 30% of enterprise is truly connected, right? It sounds as though that's a problem you had also seen in the field if you built a practice around Boomi and around creating that connective tissue, right? Software to software, now agent to agent. Talk a little bit though about like what's really happening with these customers right now. Like what were the challenges that kept folks at that 30% ratio, and what do you think is really shifting to make these opportunities more possible for the world of agentic?
Well, I think a couple things, right? One of the things that most companies have done, and it's an old school term, is they've pushed down the road technical debt. So they've been trying to clean their data and understand it and whatever. And we're at a point in time now where it's time to kind of, the rubber's hit the road. There's nowhere more to push it. You can't push it anymore if you're going to do this. So that's some of the things that holds people back. And the fact that IT was so separate from business. So you had the IT stacks and they're working on it, even those systems, and then the business had their piece, right? So this age with AI really brings them together. And some of the work that we've done even internally, because I wanted to experience it myself to understand. And we're an IT company, right? So you figure, oh, it'll be easy. You guys know how to do that. But you still get the business, so you got to bring to the IT parts, because we're the same as any other company, right? And learning how to speak the same language, so each other's understand them, to build it, to gain the trust.
Right.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And Dan, we heard from your colleagues earlier, we had Ed and Manny on, and we joked that like there is a lot of mainframe still, right? There's an increasing volume of it actually.
Sure.
Somewhat ironically, we hear about COBOL, we saw what Claude Code did to the COBOL conversation a few weeks back, and the market's reaction. But the reality is, it wasn't an easy fix, right? Or it would have been fixed a long time ago.
That's right.
You know, so like when you're out talking to partners and clients who have been somewhat hamstrung by this for a long time, how do you how do you explain, I guess, not only the urgency to Teresa's point, but the actual real opportunity of a shift?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think number one, the reason why mainframes still exist is there's still a lot of value in those systems. And the other aspect to your point before about why is only roughly 30% of things integrated, it's actually really hard to do, right? And it takes time and it takes a lot of effort. And what's amazing about this opportunity we're in right now is that with the advent of AI, right, we're going to see two things. We're going to see a continued explosion of new applications for technology, and then an increase in need to go all the way back to the original data sources in mainframe, as well as all these other data sources that have been created during that time. And so now, that integration, how are we even going to stay at 30%? Well, we're leveraging AI, DXC is leveraging AI, and so things like the product that I'm so excited about, Boomi Companion, which is going to allow you to take all of the decades of experience that we have, that they have in creating these integrations, put it in your back pocket, and catch up, essentially, right? So while it explodes, we're actually going to run faster, than the explosion of AI, and help everybody not only reshape what they have already integrated in hand coding and brittle code and presenting all risk to their organization into something better in a modern platform that will help them accelerate to the point where they're now feeding all of those AI applications with the need, no matter where the data resides. Something that was built in the 50s or 70s that's still out there, that DXC, by the way, is a leader in insurance and has applications running on those because it's a requirement, in banking and all the other great things that you guys do. Now being able to serve that to an agentic front end with a modern platform is some of the value proposition that we have together. So it's really exciting, yeah.
And it actually takes care of some of, like Mainframe you mentioned, which is funny because everyone declared that dead, what, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
And so they lost all the developers. They all kind of aged out.
Yeah.
So then people became afraid to really do too much. If it's, if it's
Yeah.
not broke, what did someone say on stage? Don't break it.
Yeah.
But now with AI, right, to your point, and being able to do this and putting in all the skill sets and that
That's right.
it fixes that problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Staying on Boomi Companion for a second, we had a great conversation with Matt yesterday, and he talked about the open source opportunity and all of the kind of exciting ways that's going to hit the industry, right?
Yeah.
One thing, and I think to you, Terese, is interesting to me is the services versus the wrapper element to this, right? Because, it is perhaps would like to be a one-stop shop, a one solution for a particular workflow. How do you think about that from the perspective of the services side of your business and the actual, human element to these enterprise integrations and transformations versus how much of it is now being done, like, I guess in some ways by the agentic wave of like Claude Code and other technologies, and now perhaps Boomi Companion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just really opens it up. So I've done integrations for my entire career, right? Whether I was doing infrastructure or what have you, right? So that's what we do. And it really opens up the speed at which you can do it, right? So I no longer need to have, I've got some really crackerjack coders, right? And that's who I always went to, and that's how I was successful, because you had to rely on those people. Well now, those people can be scaled so much more to be able to do this. And then they can focus on the more truly complex things that you need to really think through.
That's right.
And you can move that work to someone else to do that, and you use the brain power to go that next step. I think Steve said it this morning, right? Or maybe it wasn't Steve, I'm not sure who it was. But not just cost savings, but now really moving forward, we're actually having time to work on strategic.
Yeah, that's right. This
That's
productivity
what I'm
engine is just so exciting. And just to add a little bit, I think there are a few companies as well positioned as DXC to capitalize on this, because part of your question is, there's a convergence going on in the market. And what is software? What is services? What is advisory? Who does that? Does the software give advisory and the human does the prompting? Like, we're not really sure where that's going to look in 5 years, but there are a few companies as well positioned as DXC because they do all of those things now. They are a product company, they are a delivery company, they are an IT landscape management organization as well. So they have all of those pieces in their knowledge center already. So it's pretty exciting to work with them.
And Terese, to your point on these crackerjack coders, right? I've also known some great coders in my time. I was at Microsoft for 9 years. And these are folks that took great pride in their unique abilities, right? We heard a lot about, from Ed and others, about one particular member of the Boomi team called Chris, who's going to, I guess, create clones of himself for the love of Boomi and the great opportunity for Boomi. But how do you think that is playing out, like, in the field with this particular audience? Do you think people are excited about the opportunity of replicas, or do you think there's still an element of inertia around, what will that really mean for me?
Well, that one's a tough one. So I think it varies. It depends on the person. I think there's a human element of that I think is maybe still, I'm sorry, all those sci-fi movies, a little disturbing, but but honestly, the true technologists, and I saw it in many times over, I don't want to age myself and go back to how far, but things have changed a couple times in my career, and there's two groups of people: those that embrace it and move forward, and those that want to fight it and stay behind. And I hope that at this point in time, people have learned that lesson, right? So the exciting thing is the true technologists embrace it. And I have a gentleman on my team who just is crazy, and he just goes out, I'll tell him something, he'll go out over the weekend, and come Monday, he's like, Terese, look what I built. I got some at Boomi World. He goes, look what I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in a car reference because Steve may be watching and we know how much he appreciates cars. Engineers are just fascinating people, not being one myself, but I have appreciation for what they do. They will appreciate any kind of capability and build process, right? And so you could say, I appreciate the mechanics of a Model T Ford, but if I'm going to get in a race, it's not what I'm going to drive, right? I'm going to get in an F1 machine and I'm going to floor it and I'm going to blow the doors off that. Amazing machine, also amazing machine, but if I've got to be productive and I've got to deliver on a client's needs, I'm going to go with the Ferrari, right? So
I was going to say, you have to say Ferrari, right?
That's
I mean, this
right,
is the whole theme.
Yeah.
So coming to you for a sec, Terese, as Dan mentioned, you guys have a monolithic business, right? You've been in the industry a long time. We're hearing a lot about the opportunity, the kind of various verticals that are winning and perhaps losing as well in this race right now, right? What are you seeing in the field? Is there certain verticals and industries that you think are adopting sooner, quicker, faster? Is there a little bit of conservatism still in certain spaces? How is it playing out?
Most are really adopting. So we work a lot with insurance, if you mentioned, right? So we've built a huge business around that at DXC. We do a lot of work in the finance industry, which I actually thought would be a little more hesitant, more, right, financial. But working with several of the very large banks that we have, they've embraced it. They're using that to go through and make sure they're more accurate, more consistent, and go faster. And automotive is always fun, right? So we do a lot of work even in the automotive space, right? So we partner with several of the car companies to be able to build even the internal systems and to look after it. And what's really exciting for me, sorry, I start to geek out, is the innovation that's now coming, because people are coming to me with these sometimes they're a little much, but they're really creative, good ideas on how you can make this work and do things better, faster, smarter. I mean, it's just, it's really fun. Because it's not the same old, okay, integrate here and move, put an event into here and create a ticket. Right? We're past the 1990s now. So
now some will certainly benefit more than others, but it's hard to throw a stick and not hit an industry that would benefit from agentic technology and all the experience that we've gained over the course of humanity towards that thing, right? Everything can be done better. And so it's a matter of who will adopt first, who will go through the most transformation, what will that leap look like for the various ones. Some that are still stuck in mainframe will probably get the most benefit out of it, or, comparatively, but everybody, has an opportunity to do something better here.
And they're really looking for industry-specific solutions.
That's right.
So that's the other thing. It's not generic, right? So DXC having a presence in all of those industries really allows for us to be able to relate, get in there, and help build.
That's right.
When we think about those excitable folks that are coming to you, Terese, with these great ideas, and you're like, wow, he said that's a bit much, I love that. But it's a lot of excitement, right? And excitement should be encouraged. It also needs to be controlled, though. We saw some interesting features and tools and new rollouts by Boomi today, like Control Tower and different elements of the stack that are trying to create that grown-up approach to the world of enterprise and agentic. What are you seeing happening from the perspective of measuring risk and speed? And where does the Boomi, what some of the features we saw today play in?
Well, Boomi in particular, right? So, if you go back to where cloud happened, a bunch of people could go in and set up a network and set up an environment and start building businesses. Oops, forgot about that thing, security, right? Or, oops, I didn't know that I couldn't make my resources as big as my on-prem huge servers, right? So the ticker started going, right? So what really excited me was the fact that they have now the ability to start monitoring, observing, understanding, and then you can start doing the balancing to keep those dollars down, because that's exactly where it's going to go. I mean,
that's right.
You're going to build, you get excited, you go, and then you're like, wait, then you get the bill.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well,
How much money did this save me again?
Yeah, and there's two aspects of it. I mean, one is the actual cost, and we're not sure we totally understand that yet, and we're getting our hands on it as an industry. And Boomi has solutions there, as we've announced the lunar.dev intent to acquire, which will help us with that agent gateway. But really what Terese, I think, is hitting on is that trust factor. And do you remember the first time, I know how old we are, so I'm not going to assume anything, but there was a time in my career, I sat at a desk, and I thought about, should I use my credit card on the internet? right? And so if you're over 50, you've done that. If you're under 50, you probably haven't. And I think we're kind of at that point in time with Agentic is, do I actually trust this to move beyond my four walls of my cube? And can I deploy it across my business? In some use cases, yes. Some life and death use cases, absolutely not, right? We have to have the right data feeding it and monitor it and govern it and secure it in the process to ultimately get to a point where, yeah, we actually do trust the outcome here. And we're in this learning phase now, so we're stepping out. We're not going to go too far, as I think as a humanity, but we're going to start testing this out. It's going to be really exciting to see where we go.
You know, I will say that I wish I'd never used my credit card on the internet, Dan, as does my husband, I can tell you.
Autofill, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so final question, folks. I mean, the obvious one. Talk a little bit about what's ahead for you both for this partnership, for your prospective businesses. What do you expect to be talking about back here in 2027?
Yeah.
Well, I expect to be talking about some really, really innovative solutions. So working with my client base and working with Boomi has just been outstanding.
Yeah.
Even for Steve, for you,
yeah.
he's listening, right? But it's truly though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just outstanding to work with, to help build that partnership and build that practice. They're always there. They're willing to partner with us and go together. And to me, that's the success that's going to allow us to build those really innovative. I expect to have stage-worthy showcases, right, with you next year to be able to go through that and really breaking some barriers, right? Really breaking the barriers with bringing the security with me and bringing that assurances. I think that's the next, that's on the horizon right now.
Yeah, and I know the clients we're working with now, and I know what's in the pipeline, and we're going to get these clients over that trust factor into production, and we're going to have some amazing case studies. And that's, as an industry, where this is about to go. And we're right on the front end of it, so I'm really excited to continue working with Terese and the DXC team to make some of those dreams come alive for everybody.
Well, John, I have to say, your customers, your partners, they certainly love you, so it's great to see.
Well.
And Terese, thank you so much for coming on theCUBE.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Gemma Allen, coming to you from Boomi World 2026. We are live on theCUBE, and we are talking all things Boomi and the future of connected enterprise. Stay tuned.